We are very excited as we prepare for what all of us know is a huge game at BYU on Wednesday. Legitimately, two top 10 teams playing one another, and both of us very easily could be 20-0. I think it will be a game that will be fitting the build-up. I hope it is. They'll have 23,000 people there, and it will be a madhouse. Our players are excited. Hopefully they won't play with the anxiousness that sometimes comes with the build-up and try to do things too fast. That's the key. You know, I know, both teams will play very, very hard. So it's a fun time for San Diego State basketball. We appreciate all the involvement and belief in our students. I had a call at 7 a.m. this morning saying that they were lined up, wrapped around past the rec center to wait to get tickets for Wyoming, which is fantastic. So we are hopeful that we will go up and come back 21-0. And I know that's what all Aztec fans hope for. So we're looking forward to the challenge, and it will be a big game not only locally and Mountain West Conference, but nationally. Any questions?
Coach, who do you put on Jimmer for that?
I'm going to go with I got a good line now, and I've said it twice. This will be the third time, and I asked when that question was asked at the luncheon I spoke at, I asked everybody who was there, pull out your pen, use the napkin or a piece of paper, give me your suggestions, and at the tip-off on Wednesday, we'll have a decision made. Nobody nationally has been able to stop him. We've had a hard time in the past stopping him. He's been over 40 points, I think, 5 times. So we have to make sure that we make it hard for he and his sidekicks, which are pretty doggone good, too, that they don't get a lot of easy looks. And easy is relative. We can't give him free throws, 17 he had against Colorado State. Can't give him layups. Have to contest threes and hope that he's not making all of them.
Do you do anything special in practice to prepare for a Jimmer for that?
We put in a game plan, yes, which obviously involves Fredette in terms of how we want to guard him, who we want to have guard him, and all of those things. So yes, we do. We have been, we'll continue to work on a variety of things, though, not just one thing. We need to have the next idea waiting in the wings as we move through the game.
What most impresses you about him?
He's unflappable. I think sometimes people cannot appreciate how good he is. He's lightning quick with the ball, and he can create his own shot. You've seen the range he's got. He's got a tremendously high basketball IQ. And he never loses his focus or composure. He's as good a player as there is in the United States.
You said that you guys have had a hard time stopping him, but do you feel like you've defended him well, and sometimes he's just able to even go through that?
I don't know for sure. I mean, we've got to do what we can. They beat us. They're the only team that beat us here last year. And it wasn't just him. So we've got to guard. We've got to be able to guard. Everybody knows that. And there are a lot of things that go into being able to guard BYU. It starts with Fredette, but it doesn't end with Fredette. So they are. I think they're the best running team in the United States. So we've got to do a good job of knowing what we're doing with our defensive conversion and doing a good job in that area also, which involves Fredette, but it also involves others.
Coach, were you pretty fortunate to have a full week to prepare for them? Is that how the schedule sort of worked out, or did you work it out that way?
We had no control over the schedule. That was what the Mountain West gave us as our, quote, bye week in the first round. And every situation is different. Every team is different. All we did Thursday after Air Force was we lifted. And then we also gave them Saturday off, which might seem strange. Have one day of practice, give them a day off. But we wanted to practice Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 3 straight days in preparation for BYU. So whatever we have, we say that's what's best for us. We rather than say, boy, I wish we'd have played a game on Saturday or it's perfect for us. We're going to make it be good for us.
You've had a lot of great teams. Some people are talking about your Final Four team or your Fab Five team, how athletic and long they are. And I know you say every team is different, but can you compare the talent that you're working with here to some of those great teams that you had in the past?
Hard for me to compare, and I don't think it would be fair to either group to compare. I know that side had the number 1 player taken in the draft, the number 10th player taken in the draft, and I think the 7th player taken in the draft. So, pretty good group.
Coach, you in playing this game, you've obviously been around your team, which people fear have seen your team play, but nationally, because of various reasons and because of the television package in your league, not a lot of people have seen you play a lot. And I'm talking about tournament selection committee, AP voters, maybe other coaches who vote in that poll. Is there a concern that people are going to be judging you based on this game, which is in the Marriott Center, a tough place to play, which is at altitude for a sea-level team? Is there a concern on your part that too much emphasis is going to be put on this game and not enough on the rest of your body of work?
No, I'm not worried about that at all. I do think that people that matter across the country, the voters, have watched us play. Whether it's live on some form of TV, whether it's taping the game, getting the game, they've watched us. And I think they respect who we are and what we've done and how we've done it. Our conference call today, you may have listened in. We had every call, with the exception of one, was national. Were national calls, asking about our team, talking about our team. Not asking as much as talking about our team from folks who had seen us play. There's no question that when we lose, we probably would have a longer drop than a blue blood. That's just the nature of what it is. But I'm not worried about that either. People that know that it's an impossible place to play in Provo. It's a very, very difficult place to play. And we want to win. Our goal is to win. So we're not gonna hold the ball down 5 at the end of the game so we can keep it close. We're gonna go and play to win the game. And if we play well, we're gonna have to play well. But if we play well, we'll have an opportunity to win. But we're gonna have to play well.
Coach, how's your team dealing with the run of success that you've had? Are their heads still in the right place? Are they still hungry? Or is that something that you're addressing at all?
I think they've done a marvelous job as young 18 to 22-year-olds. You can't help but swell a little bit when so many people tell you how good you are, et cetera, et cetera. And yet they've maintained an ability to come in and focus on practice. We've had some really good practices of late. They've done a good job of preparing. We've talked about, and I've said this repeatedly, and I know I'm repeating myself, and I use the phrase, embrace where you are in the moment. It doesn't happen very often. It rarely happens to anybody, and it's happening to you. You've earned it. Don't be thinking about being 20-0. Concentrate on getting ready to beat BYU. And that's all we need to do. And I really believe that nobody has done a better job than our kids at dealing with all of that. And I think DJ Gay has been the linchpin. He's been our point person. He's been the guy that, and I use him, he might be hearing it too much too. You got to do like DJ. DJ this, DJ that. He keeps a level of composure that permeates throughout our locker room. And it's not the coaches, it's the players. And when the players have that kind of ownership in what we're doing and then buy into it, and they are, because, I'm not just DJ, but he sets the tone for us in a lot of things that we do along that line.
lot of coaches talk about peaking at the right time, meaning being at your best when the tournament starts in March. Is that something that's in your head? Is that something that involves what you're doing now to make sure that the team peaks when it really matters?
No. I'm not worried about peaking at the right time or the wrong time. I think, are like most people saying we need to make sure that we know our squad and know, when we need to pull back a little bit in terms of how hard we go and how long we go. So from that standpoint, we're trying to manage how long are we on the court here at Viejas. I think that's the thing that we have to make sure we do. We've got enough variety in how we go through practice and the variety in who you're playing that next game. They're all different. I don't think boredom, and that's a crazy word in our sport, but that ain't going to set in with what we're trying to do. And we'd like to win every game we play. And I'm not going to say, well, we have to have a loss before we get into the tournament. I want to be undefeated when we go into Selection Sunday. Won't happen, probably won't happen, but I'd like to have that happen.
Coach, you've already won this year at Gonzaga, at New Mexico, historically two of the toughest arenas to win in the country. What is it specifically about Marriott Center and traveling to Provo that makes it, as you described, an impossible place to play?
It's not unlike Gonzaga or New Mexico. They're all very, very difficult. They're all extremely hard to play at. It starts with the players on the other team. And then all the other factors enter in that we've all talked about, the travel, the crowd going against you, being away from home, and all of those things that make winning on the road difficult no matter who you play or where you play. But when you play good teams, that's the hardest part. And all those places you mentioned, they got good players. They got it?
I have twofold questions. One, with no disrespect to the schedule you play for the Mountain West, do you think the schedule is tough enough to prepare you for March? And you've been through this before with March and Michigan and tough Big Ten. And two, BYU on paper looks like your toughest test today. Do you welcome the opportunity to see how you match up, regardless of the outcome of the game? Sort of a teaching opportunity.
I think the first question, we've played a really, really good non-conference schedule. We played more road games than maybe 2 or 3 of the top 5 teams put together. And only a coach or a player can appreciate what it's like to go on the road and what it's like to play teams that may not have the reputation, but they're good teams and they can play with a lot of people. And you need to look no further than who has beaten some of the big names. And it happens every week. It hasn't happened to us. I saw most recently where our league was rated 4th. So when you say no disrespect to our league, we with pride say we're Mountain West Conference. Our league right now is rated ahead of the ACC, the Pac-10, and only behind Big 10, Big East, and Big 12, from what you guys say. So we've prepared ourselves. I'd rather be playing a team that I knew wasn't real good on Wednesday, to be honest with you, than a team that I know is a legitimate Final Four contender in BYU.